Hey guys, looks like it's beer 30. Let's go see what's in the fridge today. Hey everybody, thanks for stopping by Gregsbeerreviews today. Not having anything from this brewery. This is Off Color Brewing, and they're out of Chicago, Illinois. I picked up several of their beers. They just started showing up here in Virginia, and according to what the bottle's got on it, it says it's called Troublesome. It says wheat beer brewed with coriander, and I expected it to be just a standard wheat beer. And when I got it out of the fridge today to do the review, started checking, getting a little more information on it, and according to what Beer Advocate says and Rate Beer, they're calling it a Goza, and that typically is a kind of salty, lemony style of beer. I haven't done very many of those. Matter of fact, I think I've only done one, and that was the one from Six Point. So kind of surprised that it doesn't have that style written on there, and doesn't mention anything about any kind of sea salt or saltiness or anything. So we'll see what this one brings to the table, whether it's kind of salty and fits into the Goza style, or it's more into the standard wheat beer. So I don't know. Commercial description on this, it says most brewers spend a lot of time and effort keeping lactobacillus out of their breweries. It was the first thing we brought in. It still has to stay in the corner though. We blend together two different beers to make Troublesome. The first is somewhat uninteresting wheat beer, and the second is a coriander and salt at the tail end of fermentation to create a mild lemony tartness and a fuller sensation of mouthfeel. And yes, it's hard to make. That's what it says here, guys. This is a low ABV beer. This is a 4.5% or 4.5%. It says here the IBUs are 10. So very low bitterness on this beer. And for you guys that don't know what a Goza style is, I'll read to you what Beer Addict's got. It says an old German beer style from Leipzig, and that's in Germany. Goza is an unfiltered wheat beer made with 50 to 60% malted wheat, which creates a cloudy yellow color and provides a refreshing crispness and twang. A Goza will have a low hop bitterness, it's only got 10 IBUs, and complementary dryness and spice from the use of ground coriander seeds, and a sharpness from the addition of salt. Like Berliner Weiss beers, a Goza will sometimes be laced with various flavors and colored syrups. This is to balance out the addition of lactic acid that is added to the boil. Somewhat recently, Goza has been a mini revival with a handful of breweries bringing back the style in the Leipziger area, and pubs like, I'm going to butcher this word up, Gozenchink, Own, Bediken, serving traditional brewed Gozas. So, not a lot of German in my vocabulary, guys, so I apologize if I butchered those words all to hell. So, like I said, I was expecting a typical wheat beer, a low ABV wheat beer, but now that I'm reading the descriptions and stuff here, it may be more in the Goza style, which has that lemony, tart, salty taste. So let's see what this one brings to the table. Food pairings, like I said, cuisine is German, and the medium for this is fish. Glassware is a Stange, which is a slender cylinder type glass. I do have one of those. Or the Wiesen glass. This is my Wiesen glass, so I'm going to use the Wiesen glass. I have found every time that I try to pour something in that Stange, it is so thin and skinny, I usually get a monster head and can't even get a whole 12-ounce bottle in it. So using this glass, I know I'm going to get all this in there, even if it does produce a big head. It says here, not recommended for extending cellaring. So, and there may be a date on it, but it is sweating profusely, guys. We'll look when we come back to the final chug. So let's get this one into the glass. Not a big hiss, a little bit of smoke. I've got a piece of something in here. Can't have that. And no foreign material in my beer. And typically with your wheat beers, you want to get all the goodies out of the bottom of the bottle if there is any. And we did. So I don't know if that's typical for the style, for the Goza style, but I usually try to get all the goodies on those wheat beers out of the bottom. Didn't pour a massive head with that easy pour. It is a very light colored beer. Very golden, if you will. It is kind of cloudy. Let's get a nose on it. Yeah, it's got that lemony tart. Not getting a lot of salt on the nose though. You can definitely get any coriander. But I am getting the lemony citrusiness of it. And the coriander. So let's give it a taste to see how salty it is. Cheers. Definitely got the saltiness in the taste. Probably for all you oyster fans, which I am not, this would probably be a good beer. Good beer to have at the beach, maybe with some seafood or something. Have that saltiness in there, saltiness in the air. Kind of pleasant. Not my typical style, guys, but I enjoy trying different things. This definitely has a lemony, coriander, salty taste, and that's what they're going after here. So it's dead on, spot on for that. Very low ABV at 4.5%, so you could session a few of these. Especially if you're at the beach, when you're sitting around on the beach, you can probably drink a 6-pack of these before you catch a slight buzz. Or me anyway, especially the bigger beers that I drink. But I don't session beers that much anymore. It's pretty tasty, it is. It's a nice change of pace. What I call these lower ABV beers, session beers, I call them lawnmower beers. If you're out working in the yard and you got one of these iced down inside, or 2 or 3 of them, where you can come in and suck 1 or 2 of these, maybe even 3, and go back and continue doing what you're doing, cutting the grass, working in the yard, or whatever your chore you're operating outside. So, very nice, very pleasant. Well, let me fish right out of the fridge. Let me take it back and let her have a sip or 2 or 3, and we'll come back and do the final chug on this one. I usually, on these lower ABV beers in this style, I usually don't let them get real warmed up to warm temperature. I'll probably finish this off in about 10 minutes or so. So, I'll be right back. Alright guys, I'm back. Got just a little left. A nice lawnmower beer, if you will. Especially if you like that salty, lemony, slightly tart, bready taste. It's decent. It's decent. Definitely above average, but not quite to the A category in my opinion. So let's do the final chug here on this one. A good thirst quencher. Like I said, a pretty good lawnmower beer, if you will. If you like a little bit of saltiness in there, where you're not having to take a shop shaker and pour it in a beer, which I know a lot of people that do that kind of stuff, especially if they drink the macros. But it's decent. I looked at the bottle. There is no dating on it, and that would keep me from buying this beer again. Not especially on a 4.3%er and not having a date on it, would probably not purchase it again just because of not having a date. Decent beer, not outstanding, not world class, nothing to write home about, but it's decent. To me, guys, this is a B beer in a B- bottle, and that's where I'm gonna put it. I'm gonna give it a 5. If it had a date on it, I'd probably give it a 6, but it has no date, and we kind of need that for a 4.3% beer. So, with that being said, let's go over to Beer Advocate. They say 86 in the very good range. If it had a date on it, I wouldn't argue with that, but since it has no date, if I'm putting a numeric rating on this beer, guys, it would probably be an 81 or an 82, somewhere in that area. And over to Rate Beer. Rate Beer says 89 overall and 82 in the style. Don't think it's quite to the 89 category, even if it had a date on it. If it had a date, I'd probably give it an 85 or an 86. But it does not. So, didn't blow me away, didn't blow my hair back, socks off or anything. So if you've had this one from Off Color Brewing out of Chicago, Illinois, let me know what you think, guys, and come on back tomorrow. Let's go see what's in the fridge. I do have a couple more of these beers. I might, since this doesn't have a date, they probably don't either. Probably want to go ahead and get them out of the fridge too, since this brewery is not dating their stuff. It's just to get them out there and do them as fresh as possible. See you tomorrow.